Here in this video, I've decided to talk to you about sunscreens. If you're not too familiar with the world of skincare and beauty products, I recommend watching this video till the end. That's because I'm going to talk about something everyone should know about. Taking care of your skin against sun exposure is no joke, and it's something everyone needs to do. By the end of this video, you'll understand why some sunscreens leave your skin looking chalky and why some shouldn't be used during pregnancy. As always, I've included all the sources in the description for you to check out. And I'd really appreciate it if you could help grow this channel by sharing my video with anyone you think would find them helpful. 1 in 5 Americans will develop skin cancer during their lifetime, and it's important to know that the sun exposure is a major factor in causing it. The good news is that this type of cancer can be prevented by protecting your skin from the sun. Since sunlight consists of different wavelengths, the most important one that can lead to skin cancer is ultraviolet or UV radiation. This is where sunscreens come in. They help block these rays from penetrating our skin. So, all the sunscreen available in the world are designed to do just that for your skin, nothing more. They should protect your skin from both UVA and UVB rays. Some sunscreens go a step further and can protect your skin from a wider range of harmful sunlight, including blue light and infrared rays. However, I still emphasize that their main job is to protect against UV rays. Although sunscreen can be categorized based on various factors like being sticky or tube-based, water resistance, and many others, what truly differentiates a sunscreen is their ingredients. Now, sunscreen can be broadly categorized into two main types based on how they work: chemical sunscreens and mineral or physical sunscreens. Chemical sunscreens are absorbed by the skin after application and typically contain carbon-based compounds. These sunscreens act like a sponge, absorbing UV rays from the sun to prevent them from damaging skin cells, and they usually release their absorbed energy as heat. On the other hand, physical sunscreens are made from mineral ingredients, and as the name suggests, they don't get absorbed into the skin. Instead, they sit on the surface and act like a mirror, reflecting UV rays away from the skin. There's actually a third type of sunscreen as well: hybrid sunscreen. If a sunscreen contains both chemical and physical filters, it's considered a hybrid sunscreen, which usually has a lighter texture compared to the other two types. Now, if you want to figure out which sunscreen, chemical or physical, is better, we can understand the answer by looking at how each one works. Chemical sunscreens are fully absorbed into the skin, and since they have no residue on the surface, they're usually invisible in clear formula. No one would even know you're wearing sunscreen unless you mention it. You need to apply this sunscreen 20 to 30 minutes before going outside to give them enough time to fully absorb into your skin. Physical sunscreens sit on top of the skin, making their effect more noticeable compared to the chemical sunscreens. They often leave a white, chalky residue on the skin. That's why even from a distance, people can easily tell you're wearing sunscreen, especially if you have a slightly darker or more tanned skin tone. However, this white residue has an interesting benefit. As long as you can see the whiteness on your skin, it means the sunscreen is still working. Once the whiteness fades, it's a sign you need to reapply it. Another great thing about physical sunscreen is that there's no waiting time. As soon as you apply them, they start protecting your skin immediately. Recently, leading sunscreen brands have introduced a technique to create tinted mineral sunscreens that minimize the white residue on the skin. These tinted versions can even act like a lightweight foundation, covering up blemishes and uneven skin tone. As we mentioned, chemical sunscreens are invisible because they absorb into the skin, and this is where the main issue begins. This type of sunscreen can enter the bloodstream, potentially disrupting hormone function and posing risks for individuals with special health conditions such as pregnant women. In more common cases, they can also cause irritation and inflammation. So, individuals with sensitive skin or eczema should avoid using chemical sunscreens. And remember, we mentioned that chemical sunscreens generate heat when they absorb UV rays. This heat can be problematic for those with melasma, potentially worsening their condition. Ingredients like oxybenzone and octinoxate, commonly used as filtered in chemical sunscreen, can be harmful to the environment and may damage coral reefs. That's why in some parts of the world, like tourist areas in Hawaii, the sale of chemical sunscreen is completely banned. However, the ingredients and filters used in mineral sunscreen are completely safe for both the body and the environment. In fact, the FDA recognized only mineral sunscreen as completely safe and effective. When the FDA gives its approval, it means we can trust those products. So, to wrap things up, if you want to find out whether the sunscreen you have is physical or chemical, here's what you should do. First of all, you can visit the manufacturer's website and read the product details. If it's a mineral sunscreen, it's usually mentioned in the title or product description. But if the product doesn't mention whether it's a physical or chemical on the website, you should quick check the ingredient list. If you see ingredients like oxybenzone, insulizone, sinoxide, deoxybenzone, octocrylene, padimat O, salisobenzone, octinoxate, octisalate, and avubenzone in the ingredient list, you can be sure that it's a chemical sunscreen. But if you find ingredients like zinc oxide and titanium dioxide in the list, then you can be sure that it's a sunscreen with mineral filters. If you see ingredients from both groups, then you know it's a hybrid sunscreen. Overall, if you don't have any specific issue and just want to protect your skin from the sun, you don't need to worry too much about whether it's chemical or physical. Just use whatever sunscreen you have on hand. You've probably heard from dermatologists that using regular sunscreen consistently yields much better results than applying a fancy high-end sunscreen only occasionally. But does it mean it doesn't matter whether we use a physical or chemical sunscreen? Yes, it does matter. If you're pregnant, have sensitive skin, or your skin needs extra protection due to blemishes or other issues, then you should definitely choose a mineral sunscreen. Also, if you're traveling to the Hawaiian Islands, make sure not to bring any chemical sunscreens with you. But if you don't have any specific issues and aren't planning a trip to Hawaii, you can choose from a wide range of chemical sunscreen to help reduce that white cast on your skin. And keep in mind that while no sunscreen is 100% waterproof, chemical sunscreens generally offer more water resistance compared to physical sunscreens.